All right, here we are.
It's been a minute.
Hey, it's been a minute, and I've missed this time, so I'm really looking forward. We had a very inspirational week here at Southwind. Had our partners home. It was a bit of a homecoming, if you will.
Indeed.
Had some new partners there for the very first time. Announced some really amazing things that are happening in the organization. And we had a great speaker, and the speaker gave us tons of food for thought. John McGraw, former NFL player, came and talked to us about the process.
Yes, the process and falling in love with the process to the extent that you can be present in the process, finding enjoyment from it.
Let's define what we're talking about when we say the process. If I tell you, LaDrew, to enjoy the process, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think it depends on what I'm going after, because depending upon what my why is.
Well, let's relate the process right now to your job.
Sure. So I would say the part of the process is preparation, seeking knowledge, waking up early so that I can be prepared for the day. That's the process. Making tough decisions, saying no to things tonight so that I can be ready to go tomorrow morning.
Yeah, when I think about it, and I think about it related to a job, I think about every single day you're doing all of these tasks. And some of them you feel like not doing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, especially to some of our teammates, they're physical. They could be a physical task, and the urge is to not do it or not want to do it or to go home or want to go home early and not take the time to understand that everything that you're going through right now is the process. And you don't get the opportunity to go from crew member to CEO and just skip a step like that.
Yeah, man.
It takes all these different levels and these different iterations in order for you to be ready to be CEO.
Yeah.
Because without those things happening to you, you'll fail. You need that information. You need the experience. So much so, you can go look for a job right now that requires a college education or relevant experience, meaning that person who's making the hire understands that the process that you went to get to where you are right now is the most important thing. But I think we find ourselves wanting to skip the process, complain about the process, and take steps backwards.
Man, I love that. You nailed it. So the reason, when you asked me, the reason why I went to my time outside of work is because, like, when I get here, that's when the game starts.
Yeah.
So to me, like, that's no longer the process. The process is everything that it takes for me to be able to perform when I get here.
Yeah.
So,
but I would challenge you and tell you that performance is part of the process, right?
Yes. I don't disagree with that.
And performing at your peak capabilities, which
for sure.
All the stuff that you do outside of work.
Correct.
The reading, the meditation, the health stuff, all the things you're doing to exercise and take care of your body, help you perform the process at peak levels. Correct.
So yeah, I think there's two tones that we have to look at this from, because like you were saying, when you're the crew member, you're here, what takes you away from the process when you are here is where you're worried about going when you leave.
Yeah, and just to be clear for the listeners that aren't in the organization, I would just say consider crew member entry level position.
Correct. And at that point, the process is happening here every day.
Yeah.
On site, in the trucks. As soon as you show up to work, this is the time where you're in the process.
Yeah.
And as you progress in your career, then the preparation changes. So now when you are a senior crew leader or you're a senior ops manager, part of that process happens at home.
Yeah, I think part of the process happens at home. Most people just aren't.
What.
But here's the thing. Most people don't realize that waking up early is part of the process. And so because of that, they hit the snooze button.
Yes.
And they fail the first part of the process. Or they are groggy when they wake up because they stayed up too late, which is also part of the process, is getting to bed on time.
Yeah.
So when we say respect and appreciate the process, it's respect and appreciate the fact that in order for you to do what you need to do and get to where you need to go, you have to go to bed early. That's part of the process.
100%.
So you can get a good night's sleep. Get your 8 hours, they say, so you can show up and shine in the morning. Getting to work, showing up on time, part of the process.
Yeah. So and so I would also say, for our team members who are in the field right now, part of the process is, being told no, getting into that negotiation. I think about the story that Tyler was telling this week. Like, that was part of the process where he slipped off the dock, hit his tailbone on the truck or whatever. Yeah. That's part of the process.
Yeah, part of the process is understanding that there's pain.
There's pain.
Real pain, not just fake pain, not just the mental pain of being told what to do or what not to do, and how that feels from a mental standpoint. But sometimes there's physical pain that's part of the process. And recognizing that I don't have to quit right now.
Yeah.
And actually, if I stay strong and I move through it, I actually am respecting the process to get myself to where I want to go.
The more I think about it, I mean, I think you just have to blend the two of them. Although it is game day when you show up here, the process it never stops. As soon as you wake up, like, it is the process all day long.
Yeah.
Like, you should be exercising that muscle, whichever one it is, all day, every day, recognizing that, yes, although this might feel unenjoyable and my senses are telling me that I could be doing something else, this is This is game time. Every single day matters, and every hour of every day matters.
Yeah, I think about you when I think about someone who respects the process, because you're someone who, call it 4 years ago, was in a different headspace than you are today.
Yeah.
And you said to me, man, had I been 25 or 26 and I had to fall off the deal, man, I'm liable to quit at that point. Just because, that was not what I signed up for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because I didn't understand the process. And, I think the funniest thing about it is, man, I remember exactly who I was and how I thought before the mind shift.
Well, what was that? And because we may find some of our listeners there.
I didn't understand the process primarily because I was selfish. So wherever I was, it was never where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. So instead of being present in the process, I'm thinking of where I would have rather have been.
Yes, you nailed it. And think about this right now, because it's the presence of thought. And as our boy Andy Major says, be where your feet are, right?
Yeah.
Be where your feet are. And I think that's why that's what happens, and that's what creates this feeling and makes you not respect what's happening in the process, if you will. Because you're thinking about, damn, I'm supposed to be rich right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here doing this job. I need a new job. But what they don't tell you is when you get a new job, guess where you get to start at?
At the bottom.
At the bottom, and the process starts again, right? So that's one of those challenges, like a catch-22. Yeah. And you instead, most people have to have the grit and determination to stay with it. Yeah. That's the hard part. That's the hard part of the process. Like anybody could quit.
Yeah.
Anybody could quit anything at any time. Like, that's easy. Anybody can do it. Anybody can say, I'm done, I quit. But in order for you to achieve anything that's worthwhile in life, you actually have to have grit and determination. So we talk about, always wanting to be somewhere else and chasing that something that's elusive in your life. Maybe it's, that new car, and then you get it, and then it feels bad. Or you feel like, okay, now what's next? And then, now I'm going to get an apartment. And then I get my apartment. Then I'm like, what's next?
Yeah, I want the house now.
Yeah, nothing will ever be enough to you if you don't respect the process.
Yeah, so I would say, and this is why meditation is so important. One, I would ask the listeners, do you meditate? And if you do you find yourself struggling to have peace of mind to where your mind isn't wandering or drifting to other places? Because that's what it's like to enjoy the process. If you are in a space right now and you're always wishing you were somewhere else, like, you're not in the process, so you can't get from it what it's trying to allow you to gain. Oh man,
that is so important. Say that again real quick.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, well, here I'll rephrase it for you. Okay.
Sure.
You said if you're not in respecting the process, understanding that you're in the process right now, you are unable to learn anything from what you're going through.
Yeah.
That's what I heard you say. So, think about it right now. If you're not where your feet are, and your mind's wandering, and you're thinking about, man, the next thing, and you don't take life for what it's giving, take what life's giving to you, and learn from it, you missed. You missed all the learning that you were supposed to get in that moment, which is just heartbreaking and crushing because you went through it for nothing. The trials and tribulations and got nothing out of it.
Yeah. So can I give you some parallels of, Drew before the mind shift?
I think that would be
this would
awesome.
Be poop putt Drew.
Oh, no. Not him.
Yes, poop putt.
Not him.
Yes, scoopity poopity poop.
Oh, man.
So I would be at work. Get this.
Yeah,
Believe it or not,
yeah.
this is me, man. All
right,
man,
cool.
Please don't fire me.
No.
I would be at work wishing I was off.
Oh, at work wishing you were off. Man, I know a lot of people who do that.
Yeah, man. I was driving a certain car, hating that car, wishing I could drive something else. I would.
Hold on one second, man. I gotta go back. So I feel so fortunate, man, because like since I was 23, I've been in a place in a career that I never needed a break from. You know, like
Yeah.
And so like, what did you wish you were doing when you were off?
That's the thing.
Like
man.
that's what I want to know. Like
that's the thing.
like
Nothing. You know, and I hear sometimes, you know, in the halls, like people talking about like, man, another add-on or this, or I wish I was off, or you know, working too long. It's like, remember they used to say, we're going home tonight.
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna pick it up, put it down, and go home.
What are you going home to? Because I remember at that point in my life, I was only going to hang out with Les.
Yeah,
you know, so I actually wasn't going to do anything.
You were going
productive.
to take away from your life, not enrich it.
Yeah, I was going to go do something that would take me actually further. Remember that Closer or Further game?
Yeah,
something that was going to take me further from where I wanted to be. Man, and that's how you end up lost in the sauce, how I call it.
Yeah, sorry. And so you were at work wanting to go home and do nothing productive. Correct. All right, cool. You were driving in a car, and you didn't have gratitude for what you actually have. You were actually pissed about it.
I was pissed because I wanted a motorcycle too.
And you thought that this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
How am I up in this car? I'm better than this.
Yep. And then when I got the motorcycle, I wanted a different one because I want to pop better wheelies. You know, because like somebody pulls up and someone always has a better motorcycle.
Yeah.
You know, and I only had the 650 at the time, so I was upset about that. Now I need the R1.
Okay.
You know, the Thou Wow. You know, this is, you know, I know, you know, it's tough, man, because until you, I guess what I call mind shift, you're not going to enjoy the process. Like, why would you want to go home when the process is what you should be in love with? There's nothing better that you're going to do all day long. You know, so whether it was the time, you know, that I was in college working at Famous Footwear and 1-800 Got Junk, always wishing I was somewhere else, you know, it was in that moment that I needed to learn what was for me that took a mind shift for me to actually learn. And that's
absolute gold, because the reality is, if you don't appreciate the process at Famous Footwear and 1-800 Got Junk, or you're working someplace, any place right now, and you're not appreciating the process of what you're getting, you're not learning how to get to where you want to go to.
Exactly.
So you'll never get there, really, is the reality of it. Like, the reality is, I don't care what I want to do in life. If I don't respect what I'm doing currently, I will never achieve it.
You'll never achieve it.
Nobody, I ain't never seen a guy go from middle school to the NBA, ever.
Never will.
Because he had to play high school basketball to be a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
He needed those reps in that competition.
Yeah, it's the process.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be impatient, which is why you have to fall in love with it.
You ever seen a lawyer graduate high school and become a lawyer
Not
immediately?
even close.
They have to go to law school,
They have to
right?
go to law school.
The process, and
Yeah.
they say law school's hard. I don't know. I've never been there.
Yeah.
Or med school. I didn't get to graduate high school and be a doctor. I still have to go through med school. And even after I go through school, I have residency.
It's the process.
It's the process. Those are that's the process. And sometimes it sucks, is the thing.
Yeah.
And it sucks, and you think, man, this sucks. It's hard. And the hard stuff is actually what makes you good at life.
Yeah.
If you don't do the hard things, you don't get good at life. You don't do the process.
Yeah.
You can't be good at life.
May I kind of tell you a funny story, a parallel?
Yeah.
So speaking of, you know, when I'm yesterday to Tyler tell this story, and I knew at the time where I wasn't present, I wasn't where my feet were, and how I knew I'd have been like, man, fuck you guys, I quit. I broke my tailbone. I fell off the dock. I'm out of here. You know, at that point in time, I didn't understand the process. All I understood was wanting something else. Mm-hmm. And my brother, he's an awesome musician, and you know, where I grew up is you know, the church that gets kind of live, and everybody's really good at playing instruments. So my brother taught himself how to play his instrument, and just learned by ear. Don't know how to read music or anything like that.
What instrument is it?
He plays the bass.
Okay.
So I said, all right, cool. I'm going to play the drums because I want to be the guy, try to do all that stuff in the back. So I started playing the drums, and I sucked at it because, compared to what I'm hearing at church and on the radio and whatever, because I have an ear for music for sure, I wasn't that good right out the gate. I came out and I sounded like I was in elementary school, So I quit because I hated the process, because I wasn't an expert yet. And I couldn't embrace the fact that this is what it takes. You have to know what it feels like.
10,000 hours, man.
10,000 hours.
Malcolm Gladwell says you need 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. And really, that's life. So anything you want to be good at or great at, like the drums, you have to commit time into it, a.k.a. process. Yeah. You have to commit the process to become an expert. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I get on these podcasts with you, and I feel like life seems so simple. And I know it's so hard. I know it's hard out there, and there's all this shit that's happening that's taking you away from being in the right mental space to make the right decision. And I respect and appreciate, and I sympathize with them. But, man, the principles are just, they're clear cut. They're clear cut. They're easy to see.
Easy, yeah.
It's simple. Listeners, it's simple. This is what it is. All right. So you want to be good at something, you have to do research and practice it. You need as many reps as you can, and sometimes 10,000 hours. And that's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
If Malcolm Gladwell, who's one of the most well-known psychiatrists, or he's a psychologist and he writes all these books, if he's the one who says, look, in order for you to actually be good, you have to commit to the process.
Yeah, 10,000 hours to be exact. And part of it, man, you know how to know whether someone's up to something or up to nothing? You had said the 10,000 hour rule, and immediately, boom, Gladwell outliers pops into my head. Mm-hmm. Because everybody, it's not that there's anything special about me. Anybody that understands process would also probably have read that book and know what we're talking about. That's just the lay of the land, which is why these principles are universal. You can go to China tomorrow and boom, off the same principles.
Same principles. Man, I hope to God they are listening to us right now, man.
Me too.
They got to be listening to us right now because, look, there's life-changing information right here. Respect the process. You guys have to put in the time. It doesn't just happen because you want it to. And sometimes, and most times, it never happens when you want it to.
Yeah.
It only happens when you've put forth enough effort and respected the process to the point where you're now an expert and things find you.
Yeah.
What you want just happens to come to you when that happens.
Yes. I would say learn how to appreciate where you're at and stop wanting different things, than what you have. And I would say even right now to this day, I have to mind shift all the way and always show gratitude, man. Hey, I'm thankful for where I'm at in the process, And truth be told, with all this COVID stuff, man, I haven't been in the gym like I need to be, and I'm thinking about running instead. But I know that when I go back to lifting and squatting, hit that squat right, it's going to be another process because I'm not going to be where I left off.
No, and it's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard. And I'm going to be sore, and
hopefully the gains are worth it.
They always are.
And the part of it is, and here's another kind of strange part of how life is and how human beings go through this, but it's not going to feel like it's worth it while you're doing it, while it's hard. While life is hard, it's rare that it feels like it's worth it while it's hard. And that's why people quit. Yeah. Because they think, you know what? This isn't worth it. I could go somewhere else. I can do this somewhere else. It's not worth it. Yeah. But the reality is, it's the same everywhere you go. That's why so many people leave here and come back. People will get fed up and they'll say, you know what? This is bullshit, and I'm going to go do something else. And then 2 weeks later, they're knocking on our door. Man, I messed up.
Yeah.
Man,
that's so good. I would say, I don't know who all knows, but the little soundtrack to go with the book.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of the things I wrote essentially to myself when I was on the Stoop. So there's this song called Breaking Barriers, right? And this guy is heckling me at the end when I'm telling, how to break these barriers. Because at this point in time where I would have quit if I was Tyler falling off the dock, or I'm at Famous Footwear, I wouldn't have believed that reading a book was actually the it. I'm like, read a book? I have actually real problems in my life. I have financial issues. I have family issues. And you're trying to tell me to read Malcolm Gladwell, The Outlier, talking about some 10,000 hours. I need $10,000.
Yeah.
But get out of here. Like, I got real problems going on right now.
Man.
I wouldn't have believed it.
And the only way out of those problems is doing what we're talking about right now.
The process.
There's no other way out. Not even if you wanted to, not even if you had the $10 million, you'd have ended up back broke. You want to know why? Because you didn't respect the process. You were out there buying Lamborghinis and mansions
and Jordans
that you couldn't afford. And the next thing you know, you're off on your ass talking about, man, remember when I used to?
Yeah.
Because fortune favors the bold. You got to respect the process. Lots of things like that have to happen in order for you to really appreciate where you are in life. And I think that... that you look at all the lottery winners that were just given something, and how most of them end up broke. I mean, that's a sad story.
It never pans out. It doesn't teach you the process. You actually skip it, which is poison in itself.
Yep, and then you start thinking it's easy. Oh, this is easy. It's not easy. There's nothing about being successful that's easy. That's why there's such a few amount of people that are successful and such a wide range of people that aren't. Because it's hard, and it's going to make you want to quit. And every day you're going to be tested to do the wrong thing that's going to pull you further away. But if you respect the process, you do the right thing, even though it's harder, understanding that that's part of the thing that's going to get you the knowledge that you need to make the steps forward in your life. Super important. So before we close today, let's go back to John McGraw's his message and talk about Sisyphus.
Yeah.
Tell me about Sisyphus.
Man, that doggone rock. He was condemned for life to push a rock up a mountain and never reach the top. And what he did was learn to embrace, trust, and love the process of pushing.
Yeah, so much so that life became for him all about pushing the rock, and the destination was no longer important. And when that becomes the case, then you can enjoy your life as it is, and
you'll never be somewhere wishing you were somewhere else.
And when you get to the destination, you understand that it's just a first down or a stop in the road as you move on to the next destination. Which really means to me that once you understand the process, sky's the limit, Drew.
Yeah, man. It never stops.
It never stops. There's no limitations to what you're capable of, because if you're pushing the rock and you're pushing up the mountain and there's no destination, guess where you go to eventually?
Man, everywhere's possible.
The top.
Yeah.
Where everybody wants to be. So get off the stoop.
Please. Get off that damn stoop, man.
Get the hell off that stoop.
$10,000. Get out of here.
Do I ever feel like Sisyphus? Yeah. Of course I do. I've been waiting for people to start saying, like, oh, you put another picture of the sweat and of a squat rack? Really? But I don't know if they understand. I've been getting on that squat rack and grinding it out for 25 years. And I'm not bored with it yet. It might seem like that's an unwinnable battle, but really, to me, it's not about winning. It's the battle itself. It's the struggle. It's the daily test. That's what life's about. Not just physically, but mentally. Getting that rock to the top of the mountain, that's not what my goal is. My goal actually is pushing the rock. Because pushing the rock, that pushes me. That makes me tougher. That makes me harder, mentally and physically. It gives me much more than I give it. I want to struggle. I want to grind and claw and scratch, and I want to dig in, and I want to push. And I don't want it to end. If I ever got the rock to the top of the mountain and it stayed there, I'd push it back down myself. I don't want to rest, and I don't want to coast, and I don't want to reach a point in my life where I say, that's it. I've done enough. I'm not going to give anymore. I'm not going to push anymore. No. That relentless cycle of day-to-day challenges, they aren't maddening to me. They don't frustrate me. They inspire me. Inspire me to drive and push more and to push harder. That's what that rock does to me. So I say, dig in and get to pushing.